us would be a great deal. We still have left ourselves holes in the squad. Now, last year, I remember sitting here at the end of the window, and I was saying something similar to what I'll say now, in terms of I like what squad we have, but we do have a lot of holes in the squad, and if we do get exposed with those holes, we're in trouble. And what happened, obviously, what happened last season was they got exposed, and they got exposed ruthlessly. 3-month injury for a doggy when we barely had a backup left back. Basically Romero and Van der Ven pretty much ruled out for most of the season. Solanke had a 3-month injury. Richarlison barely played. Maddison got a 3-month injury. We had a massive. They got massively exposed. So I've obviously got a bit of PTSD that if I say now, I'm happy with the squad, but we do have holes, and then those holes massively get exposed again. There's basically, you got that feeling because it happened last season, that it's going to happen again this season, that the holes in our squad will get massively exposed because it happened last season. I'm hoping it doesn't, but I think,
Pretty much happens every year.
I think when it comes to our squad, I think right back, keeper, we're fine. Centre backs, we're short, but I like the centre backs that we do have. I think, we are short there because after Danso, we got Takai, who's still injured, and we don't know how good he is. Dragashin still out for a while, and we don't know how good he's going to be when he does get back. Ben Davis, for me, he should be surplus to requirements. Left back, our backup right back's our backup left back, which is not a great situation to be in my opinion. Obviously, Gray can fill in there as well, but we'll have to see how he does. For me, I think our midfield's fine. I think we've got good options in midfield. We've got Decky to come back as well, hopefully, in December. I think we got a number 6 in, which was great. I think Paulini is a good signing. I'm pretty happy with our midfield. Yes,
he's back in December, but we don't know when we're actually going to see him back to his actual best.
Yeah, but look, at the moment he's back in December. Hopefully he can start playing then or soon. Yeah, you're right. I don't know, but hopefully, it's just hope at the moment.
With the injury that he's had, it's unlikely.
We'll see. Yeah, you're right, but we'll see what happens with Decky. But we got good midfield options, I think. Good blend of quality, youth, and experience, and I think, yes, we didn't get that passer that I really wanted, but I think we got some really good options there. Simons is a fantastic addition. I'm delighted with him. Really exciting addition. I'm pretty happy with the midfield. I don't have a massive problem with it. I think maybe down the line we can improve it, but I don't look at the midfield thinking it's a massive issue.
Do you not feel, though, we're looking at the midfield options that we have, there is a massive over-reliance now on Xavi Simons to create?
Well, considering we have 2 number 10s who are out long-term, yeah.
Yeah. But I'm saying right now there is a massive over-reliance on Xavi Simons to create, and one injury to him, and it's going to start looking very bleak.
I know, but
our midfield options.
I understand that, but what are you supposed to do? Sign another number 10, for big money or something, and then all of a sudden when Maddison and Decky come back, you're going to have 4 big number 10s.
I'm just asking because you said you're happy with the midfield options.
I am.
And I'm saying there's a massive over-reliance on Xavi Simons.
There is, because Decky and Maddison have long-term injury. What are we supposed to do? You know what I mean? Or do we sign another, Kudus can play there, if we need him. So, yeah, and look, if we get an injury to Xavi Simons, we might have to get creative. But at the moment, we have 2 number 10s currently in the squad who I really like in Decky and Maddison, who unfortunately have long-term injuries. But do we treat them like they're never going to play for the club again? Or what do we do? Do we treat them like they're going to come back at some point? That's the question.
But at some point could be not even this season.
It's possible. Yeah, it's possible. But do we sign another long-term number 10 then, and then sell them sell them when they come back fit, or sell the new number 10 if they come back fit, or have 4 number 10s who all probably fine for one spot? What are we supposed to do? Bergval as well is there. Maybe he can do the job. So I understand the predicament we're in, and I'm not mad with how we've decided to solve it with Xavi Simons. That's just my opinion. But
how do we manoeuvre that situation, though? How do we manoeuvre that with 4 competitions this season and pretty much Xavi Simons being our only creator?
You're going to have to rotate him with whether Kudus can play there, or Bergval can play there, or Sarr played there.
Kudus will be playing for us more than times than not on the right wing, and he's going to need a rest at some point.
Yeah.
So we don't want to overplay him and cause him a risk of injury. Xavi Simons is going to be playing in the 10 whilst Kudus is playing on the right. So how do we manoeuvre this situation? I think it's impossible.
Sarr has filled in there. Maybe one of Tell on Odebear on occasion. He's going to have to be creative. But I don't think it's a smart move to sign another to number 10 for 50 million. You know, maybe Moani can do a job there or something. Like, we're going to have to be creative, you know, unless you want to treat Kulusevski and Maddison like they're never coming back. And I don't know if that's the right thing.
What I think we should have done, I know he hasn't had to start a great loan spell, but we should have kept Jamie Donnelly.
Yeah, I also said that.
We should have kept Jamie Donnelly, because I think we're very short in those kind of areas.
I'm fine with that, and I agree. Yeah, I've said that as well. Like, I wouldn't have minded that. I think that would have been a good option. That's fun. You know, that's fair. But we didn't do that, did we? So, is what it is. But anyway, when I look at the midfield options, I'm pretty okay. I like a lot of them, and I'm pretty okay with them. Bergvall's another option. We can maybe hopefully start getting him game time in that position. Anyway, winger options. Mixed, but I'm overall okay with it. But I think we could have done, you know, we haven't really replaced Son. That's the truth. We got Kudus in, obviously, who I think is a good signing at 55 million. Brennan, good player who scores goals, and then we have two kind of players that we're hoping come good in Odebear and Tell, who haven't quite done it yet. So it kind of how happy I am with those options rests on how good these guys are going to become. Some fans will look at it and say they haven't been good and they're rubbish and get rid, and you know, I don't believe they're going to be good. Some fans will believe they will come good and are hopeful that, you know, they're not just duds. And some fans, you know, might fairly say, look, I'm not necessarily saying they're duds, but we need someone who's proven in that position. That's fair as well. But I'm hopeful they are going to come good, and I think they are got good potential, and I think give them a chance, and I think they'll be good for us. Give Frank a bit of time with them, and I think they're going to be good for us, and people start looking at them in another way. And obviously, you've also got Moani who can play there. Potentially, you've got Richarlison as well who could potentially play there. So, I think, yeah, I'm not like looking at our winger option saying, oh, it's a disaster, but yeah, I think we're probably missing one more really, really good quality winger there. And then up front, I would have said 48 hours ago I'm okay with it, but then obviously Solanke potentially got a big injury. Now, if he's not big injury, I'm okay with our striker options. If he does, it's a bit worrying because you've got Richarlison, potentially he's got injury problems, and then you're relying heavily on Moani if Solanke's out for what the rumours are is 3 months. We'll have to wait and see.
He has done a selfie in the gym today, no strapping on his ankle or anything like that. So that's a bit positive, I guess. So
if that's true, then we got some good options there, in my opinion. You got Moani, Richarlison and Solanke. I don't know what more you could ask for. I guess, again, do we have a Haaland and Isaac Gyökeres? No. But we do have 3 good strikers. I don't think anyone could really disagree with that. So I think overall, I mean, I didn't touch on the keepers. Keepers I'm pretty happy with as well. So overall, I'm pretty happy with the squad. Like, if we can keep certain people fit. But if you're right, if there is a long-term injury to Simons, if there is a long-term injury to Van de Ven or Romero, if there's a long-term injury to Kudus, all of a sudden you're looking at those positions thinking we are very short there.
Yeah.
So that's the reality of our squad. But I'm not sitting here looking at our squad and thinking it's crap or it's a disaster. I do think we're in a better position than last season. But again, if there are certain positions where if we do get long-term injuries, we are exposed. That's the truth.
Yeah, 100%. And I do think we are light in positions that I'm not completely comfortable with the defensive kind of, the amount of good numbers that we got in defence. And I think we're light at fullback. We're pretty much going into the season this year with the same concerns that we had last year, where we've got 3 fullbacks in the squad where we need 4. Like, how's that supposed to work? So one injury at fullback, then we're all like we've got a fine line to walk again. So we've only got 3 fullbacks in the squad. We've only got 3 top centre backs in the squad as well. So one injury at centre back, and then all of a sudden Ben Davies and Kota Takai are the backup options. And we all know Ben Davies probably should be moved on by now. Kota Takai, God knows if he's good enough or not. But the reality is, when Kota Takai came in, the narrative around him that he was supposed to be here to be part of the first team. So if he is good enough to be part of the first team, then we look fine, we look okay at centre back. It's not the worst thing in the world. But at fullback worries me. The creator in the midfield does worry me, and on the wing worries me as well. But if we can. If the development of Odebear and Tell go the way that the club thinks it's going to go, then we could be okay. But We need it to happen now. We need them to turn into good players now, not in the future. And we're heavily reliant on them.
Yeah, and look, at the end of the day, we signed them, as in the clubs made a decision to sign them because they thought they were good players. And they've had now adjustment periods, especially, Odegaard's had a year, Tell's had 6 months adjusting. And I understand Frank's going to need maybe a bit more time because he's a new coach with them and whatever. But you're right, we're going to need them to have good seasons this season. Put it this way, they can't have a season like they did last season, and then at the end of the season we're saying, yeah, but it's they're still young. That's not how this goes. They have to start playing well. Exactly. I'm not saying, from next game if they have a bad game, sell them. I'm just saying this season, they have to start producing, and there has to be a bit of pressure on them. And I agree with that, and that's fine. And I'm happy for them to have that pressure. And because we're in the Premier League, this is not a charity. You've got to start performing at some point. I understand there are adjustment periods, and look, Odegaard's had severe injury problems, and there are the reasons. Tell as well, there are reasons for him, but we have to start. They have to start performing at some point.
Yeah,
and that's it.
Yeah, exactly. And we haven't seen stone cold evidence of it just yet that Odegaard and Tell can be the answer this season to our left wing issues. But what can we do? The only thing we can do is put our trust in them now, and they have to start performing pretty much now. We've got big games coming after the international break. Champions League starts straight away, so straight away from next week, in 2 weeks' time, it's 2 games a week for the rest of September, and the squad is going to be stretched to the maximum level. We've got the Champions League 2 games in September. We've got Doncaster coming, and we've got the rest of the Premier League games that are coming once a week as well. So this squad is going to be stretched massively over the next month.
Yeah, and I think he's got a good squad. I'm not saying we're going to be competing for big trophies. We're not going to win the Premier League or the Champions League. That's obvious. But look, does he have a squad here that can compete for that 5th position? I think he does.
Yeah, I think he does. I think we can finish 5th, and I think when I'm looking at the squads compared to the other teams that are going for it, Manchester United, Aston Villa,
Newcastle.
I don't even Aston Villa, you can consider them anymore, but Aston Villa and Newcastle. And I think we've probably got the best squad out of those 4. Unless
you think maybe one of Brighton or Bournemouth can make a run for it because they've had impressive starts.
I think we got the best squad and the best manager outside the top 4.
Yeah, that's what I think. And I think, there's no reason to... I'm not saying we're nailed on or anything for that 5th spot.
We should be favourites to get it, though.
But I'm just saying there's no... I don't look at that squad and think he's got no chance. He's been left short. It's a terrible squad. I look at this squad and think he's got good tools. He's got a number of options. Hopefully some of these players come back from injury as well. But, I think he's got good enough options to...
But we have been left short in certain situations. Let's say one of the fullbacks gets injured. Let's say Destiny Udogie, who's got his injury problems, gets injured, right? And we've got 2 games a week. That's a lot to ask of Spence and Porro.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I guess Davis is going to be... Look, this is why I had an issue. I mean, you defended it at the time, but this is why I had an issue with giving Davis a new contract, because we're left in this position where we're relying on him.
Well, the reason I defended it was to get money. It wasn't to keep him in the squad. The reason I defended it was I thought we were going to sell him.
Yeah, we should never have given him a new contract. We should have just let it run out, and we should have signed another player. But here we are. Again, it's going to be another season where we're seeing a lot of Ben Davis. And look, he better step up. And it's not him, I mean, for the club's sake, because the club have decided to rely on him again for another season. Frank's made that decision as well to, agree. I don't know if he was here. It was his decision to give him a new contract, wasn't it?
Frank was here, yeah.
Yeah, so he's got to stand by it. Look, he's got to take responsibility for that decision at the end of the day. If Davis isn't up to it, then that's on Frank, in my opinion. So I think we've got good players, and I think we've got a good squad. We just got to hope some of the places in the squad which are most vulnerable don't get massively exposed like it was last year.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think we were 2 players off probably a perfect window this year, in my opinion.
I understand that way. The thing is, I feel like you speak to any fan across the whole Premier League, they all probably say that, apart from maybe Liverpool, like they all probably say the same, or Arsenal. Okay, but like every window, every fan usually says something similar. It's such a thing I hear all the time. We were 1 or 2 players off, or for a perfect window all the time. Like, it's hard to get everything. I know, but it's hard to get everything in one window, isn't it? It's hard to just have a perfect window. But then again, we never have a perfect window, do we? But then who does? Apart from Liverpool and Arsenal had it this summer, I would say, but it's very rare. It's not common.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean you can't say it. It doesn't mean you can't say it if it's literally...
No, I'm not saying you can't say it, but it's like we expect it.
Yeah, I mean, you always expect more. You always expect better.
Well, you want more.
And when you can see the clear gaps in the squad, then it's obviously right to call it out and criticise it, because we only got 3 fullbacks in the squad. We've only got 3 top centre-backs in the squad. And injuries in that area, then we're all of a sudden very short, and it's very worrying.
Yeah, but it's hard one to manage when you're either the manager or the hierarchy or whatever, because you've got all these long-term injuries. Like when you've got so many, like who else has as many as we do right now in terms of real long-term injuries? Dragoshin, Kulusevski, Maddison. Like, what are you supposed to do with that? Why are you supposed to just go forward as if they're not part of your club anymore? I don't know what you're supposed to do with it. It's a difficult one, unless maybe we should have gone for a loan deal somewhere. And
the thing is, it's difficult because with Kulusevski's injury, we don't know when he's going to be back to his best. So, like, you can't wait for a player for a whole year. And with James Maddison, he has an ACL injury. We saw how long it took Rodrigo Bentancur to get back to his best after the ACL. So are you just supposed to put everything on hold, and wait for these players to come back?
No, but we didn't. We signed Simons.
Yeah, that's one player to cover 2 people.
Yeah, but were you supposed to just keep signing players whenever someone gets injured and just?
I'm not talking about sign someone for a short 2-week injury. These are like major injuries that could be a detriment to the whole season.
I know, but it's a difficult position.
Yeah, of course, it's a difficult position, and the decision makers need to make difficult decisions sometimes.
But when you've got Simons there, you've got Bergvall, Kudus could maybe play in that position. You've got Sarr
unless you try and get some loans in or something like that.
Yeah, maybe a loan deal
position, and you don't loan out Donnelly.
Yeah, I would have kept Donnelly. I would have kept him.
So I mean, the club could have managed the situation a bit better instead of just leaving us with one natural number 10 in the squad this season. I think probably the most obvious one is Jamie Donnelly. Let's be real. So
this is the perfect opportunity to give him a chance.
Yeah.
We've had these conversations before about giving young players a chance, and it's hard to do that when you keep signing players, blah, 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 blah. But this is like the prime opportunity to give him that opportunity, to give Donnelly a chance to shine and play for Spurs and and see if he can do it. So this was the chance for him. So it's a bit of a shame that, I don't know if we rushed the decision or what, but we decided not to do it. Because we
loaned him literally the day after Maddison got injured.
Yeah.
So I mean, they could have held off on it in a bit, and it's not like his loan spell at Stoke has started off very well. He's not getting many minutes. So
you can give Bergvall can play there as well. Hopefully you start giving opportunities. And look, Frank is known to be creative. He can work with what he has. And we say
Bergvall can play there, but he's persisted with Sarr there instead of Bergvall.
Yeah. It's also true.
Which I don't mind Sarr playing there in the big games against the Man Cities. We can see how it worked in those kind of games. But when we're like the Bournemouth game, when we're asked to have possession and to break a team down, apart from Javi Simons, I'm not really convinced about anyone there.
Yeah, look, it's still early on. But I agree with you. I think that midfield 3 was wrong to be playing in that game. But look, Frank will figure things out, I think. I hope. Look, he doesn't have the perfect squad, so he's not going to just figure it all out completely, but he's got a squad he can work with, and he's got a squad that I'm sure he'll be happy with. And I think for me, Frank was brought in to help these young players and help them get better. That was part of his remit. So the fact we'll ask him to do that, I don't really have a massive problem with.
Yeah, when you're looking at our strongest starting 11 now, with everyone available. I mean, taking out the long-term injuries of Dragoshin, Kulusevski and Maddison. So you've got Vicario in goal, you've got Porro, you've got Romero, you've got Van de Ven, you've got one of Spencer or Doggy, whichever one you want to go for. You've got probably Paulinia, Bentancur or Sarr with Javi Simons. You've got probably Brennan on the left. You've got Kudus on the right. And you've got Muani probably up top. I mean, it's a decent starting 11.
It's pretty good. I think it's good. And then you got a lot of people who could be in that starting 11. Bergvall, if he plays like he did last season, no reason why he can't be starting in midfield. You got obviously didn't mention Richarlison and Solanke who could be above Muani. You got options there, as you said, left back. You're not sure which one to choose there as well. So there's a lot of good options there. You got maybe one of Tell and Odegaard will come good, but obviously right now, there's doubts about them. But I think it's a good squad. I do. I think it's not perfect. And look, we're going to lose games, and there's going to be teams who will get the better of us. And there'll be games like Saturday against Bournemouth where we sit here really frustrated because we've been outplayed, because we're not that great. We're not the perfect squad at the moment. We're not going to be outplaying everyone every week like Arsenal and Liverpool do, because their squads are just ridiculous. So we're not there yet. But I think there's a lot to work with there. I really do.
A lot to work with. I think with that starting 11, there's a clear weakness on the left wing. I'm happy with pretty much all the other options for the starting 11, but I think the left wing is our biggest problem, and it frustrates me a little bit. I know Son wanted to leave, and you can't really do anything about that, and I accept and I respect his decision, but he does get into that team, Sonny, in my opinion. He gets into our team. Yeah,
he does, for sure. He's better than Son and Odegaard. He's better than Tel and Odegaard, so he definitely and Johnson. So he definitely starts on the left-hand side, and we didn't replace him. But look, we're hoping that first of all, Tel and Odegaard come good, and obviously Johnson keeps scoring. He's got 2 in 3. I know he had a horrible game on Saturday, but he has scored 2 in 3. People quickly forget that after he has a bad game. So I'm not saying it's perfect, but I'm saying I look at those 3, and I don't think we're never going to do anything with those 3. I think Johnson will get goals when he needs to. I think hopefully Tel and Odegaard get the game time needed to start really developing, and Frank can do something with those 2.
Yeah, but if I told you at the start of the window we're going to sell Son and we're not going to replace him,
I wouldn't be happy with it.
You would have been like, what the fuck is that about?
Yeah, I would be.
You would be fuming. But you're not fuming.
Well, we got Kudus on the right-hand side. So, if you'd have told me we replace Son, but would with Johnson scoring 18 goals last season, he's still going to be our right winger, I'd have been like, okay. But so we essentially replace someone Kudus and move Johnson over to the left.
Yeah.
Which is I'm not saying it's amazing, but I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I don't know. Someone makes a good point, Chris, in the chat, saying we should have signed Grealish. And looking at the way Grealish has started with Everton, maybe we should have done a loan move for Grealish. I know we all kind of laughed out the room at the time, but the way he started at Everton, I think that was a bit of a no-brainer. I think that we missed the trick on that one.
It looks like it at the moment. Look, it's only 2 games, but it definitely looks like it.
4 assists in his first 2 games.
And it also helps you out when it comes to a number 10 as well.
Exactly,
on loan.
Yeah.
So
I think that was the one, man. We should have gone for Grealish.
We should have, yeah. Well, there was worries that he had lost his hunger, but clearly he just needed a change of scenery, it looks like. But again, as I say, it's only been 2 games.
Yeah. But we know he's got so much quality, Jack Grealish. And he's starting to show that.
Yeah.
So,
So ratings?
I'm going to go for 7.
Yeah, I'm happy with that number. That's what I would say. And look, to be fair, and it wasn't longer, we were talking about deadline day dibbling. We were talking about not getting anyone. And we got people like Simmons through the door, Kudus through the door, Paulinho through the door. At the beginning of the window, if I told you those 3 were coming, you would have been delighted with it.
Yeah. Look, I think we were 2 players off for 10 out of 10. Which would have been brilliant, and we would have been covered in all aspects for any injuries. But I like the quality that we brought in. I think every signing that we made, barring Kota Takai, because I just don't know much about him. When you look at Danso, Tel, Kudus, Javi Simons, and Randall Kolo Muani, I'm very happy with the quality that we've brought in from that aspect. I just thought we should have done more. And it's clear the club were looking for more.
Yeah.
It's clear the club were looking for it. We were looking for a centre-back that could play at full-back. Obviously, we missed out on Akanji. He's gone... Where's he gone to, Akanji?
Inter.
Yeah, he's gone to Inter. And we were looking for a left winger as well, which obviously we couldn't get either of those over the line, which is a big disappointment. Not going to lie, it is a big disappointment that we haven't got them over the line. But I think the quality that we have brought in is definitely going to raise the level of the squad.
Yeah, and we brought in experience. We were asked to raise the quality level, and I think we definitely have done that. I think we have definitely raised the quality. I think a lot will determine come the end of the season how happy we are with how Tel Odebear, Gray, Bergval, how all these guys do. Because right now, you know, we talk about them like they're still youngsters and how good, you know, what can we expect from them kind of thing, especially Tel and Odebear. But these kind of players, like, you know, they're not good until they are, and then all of a sudden they might surprise you because they're young players and they're going to be inconsistent early on, but maybe they'll start to really fulfill their potential, and that can happen at this age. It might not happen, and if it doesn't happen, we might have to move on. We'll have to ask serious questions depending on how they're playing, but it might happen now. And Frank's known for getting the best out of these youngsters and developing them and really shaping their careers. So I think a lot in terms of how happy we are the squad is going to be determined by how much we get the best out of these players.
Yeah, I mean, look, we can all talk about potential, but you can only really go on what you've seen. And what we've seen hasn't been of the required quality just yet. So, look, it can happen. We've seen many players not have good start to life at Spurs and go on to be very good players for the club. But from what we've seen right now, it's not been good enough and not at the level to go into the Champions League for a Champions League team. And look, we've got to just hope and pray that they develop quickly, because we know that they've got the ability. We just need them to show it.
Yeah, and that's on Frank to get it out of them, and it's on them to show it as well. It's a bit of both.
Yeah.
We did our rate our window poll. We had 4 options: great, good, mid, or bad. And at the moment, 1,100 of you have voted, and 58% say good, 16% say great, 23% say mid, and 3% say bad. Okay, so no one really thinks it's bad. Most of you think it's good, but more people think it's mid than it's great. So it's it's closer to mid than it is to great.
It's definitely not a bad window. I think, it depends how you look at it, but I don't think it's a great window. But yeah, I think I said 7, so the 7 lands in the good category. But I understand where people would say it's mid with the holes in the squad. But yeah, I would side with good.
Yeah, that's what I think. I think it's been a good window. Although, it's interesting, Basuma's still here at the moment.
Basuma will be gone. I think he's going to end up in Turkey.
Yeah, but we'll see. We'll see, because that bid failed for some reason, isn't it? But let's see if that can still happen. Let's see. Oh, wow. Apparently, Guehi's staying.
Oh, wow. Who's saying that?
Anfield Sector. Don't know who they are.
They're reliable?
Well,
I thought a late deal sheet went in.
Says here, Guehi stays. Major breaking news expected. Oh wow, Ornstein.
Okay, so Guehi's staying at Palace.
That's massively. That's terrible for. Well, I don't see it. Where is it?
What's that one say?
That says medical.
Oh.
It's major break. Guehi expected to stay at Palace despite agreement. Complete part of his medical, personal terms agreed. Let's see if there's any more. And let's see what's... Well, at the moment, we've submitted a deal sheet for Mawani and Solomon.
Yeah, so
let's hope those go through.
Yeah, Ali Gold says, understand Spurs and Palace have signed a deal sheet which have gone in for Manor Solomon's loan. And then he also said that Spurs' loan for Randall Kolo Mawani is on track to be announced. There's more time for Brian Hill's move to Girona to go through as the Spanish window closes just before 11 p.m. So Girona are on track to sign Brian Hill for a reported €10 million. A late deal sheet for Manor Solomon to go to Crystal Palace on loan, and also for Mawani to come here. So none of these deals are signed, sealed and delivered as of yet. We're talking about them like they are.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm assuming Mawani is a Tottenham player, but knowing Spurs, is there going to be a late snag? Don't do this to me, Tottenham. Do not do this to me. I'm sure it will. I'm sure everything's going to be all right, but at the moment, nothing's confirmed. We'll have to this could be announced at any moment, I'm assuming.